you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
And welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Mr. Idris Taha, and I want to thank you for tuning to our program. With me, as always, my brother, Fakir Abdul-Aziz, and on the side, and in the studio with us, this guest host, Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem. May he ease peace and the blessing be within and about your presence.
Peace and other blessing be about your presence.
We want to thank you for taking the time for watching our program, and for thus far, those who have been tuning in, we hope you've been enjoying our show. Many things that we say in the show is controversial. Many things we say is not in the norm of the sense that the word that we're talking about today. Many people are looking for things, looking for signs that the Lord is manifesting in the world today. And many people are taken aback because no one is really addressing what's really going on in the world. But we're to let you know that the message of Ahezaah Allah is here today, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen. He's bringing forth the Lord's words for you and the signs of the time. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in. May the Lord's peace and other blessings be with and about your presence. Our topic this evening is dealing with politics and government. Many people today in the world are looking to the politicians to save them, looking for the government to help them out. And the Lord is showing us that these very people that we're looking towards really don't have our best interests at heart. The Lord is showing us again as a sign of the great tragedy that took place in Louisiana, Hurricane Katrina, how the government's lack of response, what took place there, really opened up many people's eyes in society that, hey, they say they're for us, we're supposed to be a government by the people, for the people, but as we see now, they're not really for you or what's going on. My brother, looking at that is one of the signs of the Lord manifesting today. How do you feel about what the Lord presented to the people in general? What's taking place?
What struck me, brother, about that as well was the pretense that the government goes about that they're in control of all types of things and they take care of matters. Right. And maybe because of particular insensitivity to a certain group of people, that time it shows that they're not always on point with what they're supposed to be doing, and they want to put forth to the people that they're supposed to be in control. You know, and that was an out-of-control situation we looked at on the television screens for hours on end about the people being stranded and stuff like that, waiting for this so-called sophisticated government to come to the rescue of the people and help them both financially and as well help them physically when they were in such distress during that time.
People look back and saw that tragedy, for example, and like I said, the lack of response thereof. And many of the political leaders today put their face on camera, on TV, smiling at you, let you know what's going on. But our Lord Most High let us know today that the word politics that we're talking about today, and then it's the government as a whole, the Lord let us know that the term politics is a compound word dealing with the polite calling of the devil to be of his way in this day and time. And many of our political leaders smile, like I said before, look at you, hoping you to vote for them, that they're going to do a good deed in office. They're going there with supposedly good intentions to serve the people because they're elected by you, so-called, of the official government. They're elected by you, common people, the people of everyday working society, to help represent you in Congress, in the Senate, in the body government of this country. But as the Lord has shown us now, it is angry with many of them today because they have turned a deaf ear, not just to the people as a whole, but to the very sign and the covenant the Lord has sent down, not just in this time with the Lord has manifested, but in the previous time before that. Many of them of the government take what they call laws today, stealing from the divine laws that the Lord had manifested to his messenger prophets, and they subjugate by turning words to trick people, to set laws for themselves, to keep themselves out of harm's way many times, but keep you locked in to their political system that's going on.
Brother Minister, if I may read a small piece, paraphrase from the precursor to the Divine Book of Recitation.
Oh, sure. Go ahead,
the words given from Lord Ahezaah to the Lord Holy-Apostle Deen.
Okay.
Just a short piece where it's on page 13. It says, most of the people that are established for the cause of the government and other various social organizations are establishing causes and ways of a government that the Lord Ahezaah is angry with. Right. They are unaware that most of their education, most of their beliefs, most of the things they're taught are aimed toward ways designed to turn the seekers of real truth away from the source and reality of that truth. So, keeping that in mind, coming from the precursor defined book and that explanation, shows whether people legislate, whether people or participants in government have good intentions or not. They're caught up in a system that is already set against the true ruler and creator of the system of creation.
Definitely. This country is supposed to be founded again on liberty and justice, equality for everyone. Many of their laws in the Constitution, still which one sticks to this day, talking about being 3/5 of a man, of human being in society. We're not so much talking to the so-called Caucasian, but those that they held as slaves at one time, that they supposedly let free today in society. And still, you're not really, if they were so much about for the people as they profess to be, they would, that law they should really eradicate from the laws and the books, because if everybody's supposed to be of the same, then it will need for their people to put that in there. But Allah is showing us today, they leave it there as a sign to let you know you're not really part and parcel of what we're speaking about. You're not fully whole of this society. But they have to show face, because everyone in the world today looks at them to be so-called leaders of the world today, the free world, as they say. And they present to you that we treat our people, we call them slaves still today, our so-called free slaves in a society, that they go about making their way in this life, that they can have the American dream. They can have the slice of the American pie. But I just show us again that tragic Hurricane Katrina lets you know further that when the time really called, the country called to account, they keep falling short.
Even the disarray that the government was in during 9/11, during that time, a lot of people forget about those early hours when that attack occurred, and even the president of the United States was mysteriously out of touch with everything. It's like their whole notion was to well, you got the sense that he was. I guess they explained that he was being protected. It looked like he was being hiding, at least for a moment or whatever. All I know, he was on television for 1 minute, then he disappeared for another minute, and you had this calamity going across in the largest city in the nation. So another sign that government is not as in control as they like to make the people think that they are.
We have a question from the Holy-Apostle.
Well, just recently they reported that there are people presently dying from the effects of trying to help save lives at the World Trade Center during 9/11, and that they had received false reports from the government. Christy Whitman, who was a part of the government environmental protection agency, lied about the air qualities and what have you. And as you recall, I was telling you what Ahezaah was saying to me about their dying trying to interfere with its chastisement and its damnation of people.
Yes,
what we need the people to understand and to realize is that all these things that's taking place is the chastisement of a government who's trying to save face, knowing that they are enemies of the Lord Most High, knowing that the Lord Most High has come to destroy them, but they won't tell the people that. So they're trying to save face at the same time being what they are, servants of the devil.
That's definitely so true. And I think it's much because one of the signs that manifested for me, it blessed me with my job previous to where I'm at now, took me to New York City after the great tragedy of 9/11. And I had a chance to ride there with a companion of mine. We went there, and the stench in the air of death and decay was at such a level. We had the windows rolled up, and the smell came through. And I was like, oh, Lord. But they even try to downplay it, like Lord Holy-Apostle said, they try to downplay that. And now people are getting the illnesses that he's talking about as part of getting the curse that the Lord is manifesting today. That people are dying, and they're not really holding people account. People are going, the fans of 9/11 victims are saying, where's that money that you spoke about, gave it to Red Cross, and everybody's passing the buck, so to speak. They're filibustering in Congress and all these different houses of the so-called lawmaking for the people. And they are not letting people really know what's going on. That's a great sign. But many people, again, we're like cattle, we're like sheep. We're falling asleep to the sign that the Lord is manifesting to us today. And this is for you to look at. All that the Lord Most High is sitting down and is showing you, presenting you people of this great nation, that the Lord is angry with this society, angry with this government in particular, because they make a stance, a confession of faith that they're supposed to be the great society, the great leaders of free capitalism and so forth and so on. But then when it's time to come, as the Lord showed, they keep falling short, falling on their face, and they keep being covered up by our so-called politicians. Excuse them for what you see. It was a lack of error on this person's part. That everybody's passing the buck. But Ahezaah is not passing the buck on anyone today. Everyone will be called to account. Everybody is accountable for what the Lord has shown us today.
And the change of administration does not matter with the Lord. It's one government. I don't care how many parties it is. No matter how, it's they change every 4 years and play the game like what they play with the people in other countries and nations and say, well, that was this administration, not that administration. They all one institution of Antichrist.
So true. My brother, you want to say something?
Yeah, if I may, Brother Minister, Lord Holy-Apostle, just reading another piece from the precursor concerning the people and their beliefs in the government, the belief government word. It says, quote, most of the people who believe in the government are taken by the illusions of being independent or greater than the Lord of all worlds. To paraphrase exactly, the ever-active hidden power that gives life and time to their minds. And because of this, they give homage to people and theirs of other kinds against the Lord's directives, So they, in this imagining that they don't have anything to answer, that they don't have to answer to Lord Ahezaah, or they don't have to look to Lord Ahezaah for guidance, in their government, in the way they set up or in their supposedly way that they're supposed to serve the people, they get lost in these matters. I even recall the Governor Christy Todd Whitman when she was the head of the EPA during 9/11, and there was a dispute that I recall that went on. She just got into office and she was disputing with the President of the United States at the time. And I do believe that they even sat her down, or there was like an admonishment, a public admonishment her to stay in position. And thus she had to answer the questions, I say according to form, to say that the air was safe and everything was okay for them to go to, when clearly the common viewer, the common person that would see the news could see that that was a dangerous situation with all the damage that was going on with the material that was burning and the fuel and the body flesh that was decaying. And so, I mean, that was a very easy call. But here you had the government that had to stand here and stand before the people and give this line, just and like sort of an open I should say an open distraction or an open maltruth or something like that.
Showing again that the people in politics, in government, don't really fear the Lord Most High. They say they do what they profess to do. In God we trust. They say on the money, on the dollar bills, and all these things. And they profess they supposed to be a Christian.
They know that God is not a reference to the Lord of all worlds. They know that God is some other thing that they worship.
Yes.
So true, so true.
Simple.
And they believe that they're independent. But Ahezaah letting us know that everything in creation is dependent upon it. Even those governing body people think they're safe. And many of them are only puppets to further show you that the Lord is so beautiful in his giving of this truth, breaking of these seals that it manifests, that they're only a figurehead to a greater group of people that really run this world. They're only a sign. The president you see today is only a figurehead. He doesn't really run the country, but people think the president have a say-so what's going on. He has a script like everybody else has a script in their whole governing body. This is the part you're going to play this week. This is the part you're going to play next week. You mentioned Christy Whitman Todd, as a matter of fact, when she was admonished publicly before people because she was out of line of what her script was supposed to say.
Right.
She was the phone line say that the air was good, like you said, the quality of the thing. But Ahezaah showing now, Lord Apostle said it again, that the people they showing now that the people are ill. One fireman, matter of fact, died from the effects of 9/11, which happened 5 years ago.
So you know that's going to happen.
Some of non-reported deaths.
Non-reported.
A number of them, great number of them.
But it just goes to show, that we're saying the government does not have your best interests at heart. They keep saying again they're for the people, by the people, but Ahezaah showing you that it's warning them, it's angry with them, it's a wrath upon this country, this nation, for the political leaders. And those who keep following in what Ahezaah is showing you today are the signs of the time. It's for you to look at. Think about what the Lord is saying to you and don't get caught up.
Don't forget the religious leaders, the political religious.
It's funny that you mentioned religious leaders. I was just thinking about that as you were sitting and talking. Ahezaah again said, we keep mentioning Curse to the Bible in particular. It's the forewarning book to the book of the covenant for today. And the Lord Most High has said to us in chapter 519 of this particular book that many of the politicians, religious leaders that he talked about, go into the political circle, arena, supposedly many of them with good intentions, to do good for the people because they represent a particular congregation, community, civic, local, high up the chain. And they go in there not realizing what the game that they're going to come into. Now they say they believe in the Lord Most High. They're supposed to represent the Lord Most High. But the Lord let us know that you cannot mix religion and politics. That's why they broke down about the separation of church and state. It doesn't mix into, because once you go into that arena, the political circle, you have to many times be bought and sold,
Yes.
compromise for the sake of making a dollar, representing your people. And in the money time, there's more loss than there is gain, what the Lord is showing you today. But they won't tell you that. They have to go in there, you know, so to speak, eat crow, eat the humble pie. I'm going to give your people this, but you're going to give us that. So many times you see in your particular area, especially in the city of North, as Allah is showing again to us today, how the great gentrification is going all around the city. But again, it's not for your best interest. You got an arena great built up of hockey. I don't know how many black people are really into sports, hockey like that. But it's showing you, you know, the pack, the different. They got an FBI building built downtown North, a new FBI headquarters.
Right.
Like I said again, Ahezaah showing it.
Is it ironic that they got the New Jersey Devils coming into the new holy city?
The new holy city, the city of the new ark, the shoulder city, the new city of peace.
You talk about the intricacies of the government when people supposedly religion, even if they have good intentions and they originally go in and get involved in politics thinking that that's going to be a way to get their message across in a more effective way. But they get caught up in that system like it's, and the system is set up like a spider web. It's like a web of intrigue and promises and false promises and favors back and forth. And before they know, they're completely compromised. You know, the whole thing. And then also the lure of money, you know, whereas their hidden desires, their deeply hidden desires are touched upon. So they end up being open compromisers, openly coming out and turning against so-called principles that they preached about before they got involved in the politics directly.
Again, I'm going to paraphrase a portion of the precursor to the divine recitation again from page 519 of that particular book. The Lord Most High is saying beautifully to the people, among the hidden jinn, the jinn people, those hidden, the natured people, that they have mixed their religious influence with the social politics, are many that have sold their soul's connection to the Supreme Soul for a paltry price. Now, people say that, many religious people say that, I ain't sell my soul. When you get in that arena, you strip down of something.
Yes.
Strip down of something of yourself that you supposedly represent, because you represent a congregation or a body of people when you step in that arena. And the Lord further on says that some have attempted to serve the Lord and mammon. And the Lord speaks about that so beautifully in the Bible. Those who know their book, you cannot serve God and men. You can't mix the Lord is doing with the ways of the world. And many of them thinking that they can go in there and make a change or affect a change by what they're manifesting. I'm going to go in here for the greater good of the people. But like I said, and many of them that you're not even aware of, many of them are millionaires, are wealthy, but they won't tell the people. They'll show you again, I still dress the same way, but behind the doors again, they go to their big brother and tell them, this is what you're going to tell your people now.
And their big brother are the ones that, the hidden jinn, those powers that, those are the ones that truly think that they are of an independent mind from their creator. You know, they have totally rejected the notion that they are from it and they belong to it and they are in true service to it, whether they like it or not. You know, if, reading again from the precursor, brother, we'll look at this. It says, because of the faulty belief of independence of mind, the people, those people, have devised and enforced many laws, orders, which have now brought much mass destruction within and about the inner and outer worlds of mankind and other things of earth. All of this without fear of the Lord, foolishly seeking to dominate the world. And the results of it is such as that, as pointed out in the curses, things like AIDS, the environmental pollution, the regulations that has caused social chaos, you know, and social dysfunction and the like that, you know. So the people who are believers in the politics, the ones who are participants in the politics, this polite calling, those active participants in it are active participants against the call of the Lord of all worlds. You know, the Lord is angry with it.
Definitely. And many of those people with those good intentions, supposedly, when they find out what the real deal is, by that time it's too late. Now you're a part and party of the parcel of what's taking place and why the Lord is angry with this government today. And at the same time, the Lord touches on something that deal with on that screen on around, but on the greater scale, because it affects all that's going on with our children today. All these gangs, all this gang violence going on, these politicians say they want to stop, they want to have programs. They have cut many of the programming that you and I came up with. We were younger people to take young people off the street today. But that's a part of the curse of the Lord as well, because the young people have become disrespectful. They've turned away from their parents' ways because they're looking for something other than what the Lord had manifested. They don't follow the ways of the Lord sit down through his message of prophecy today. And people need to look at that. Think about that. Your children going astray is a part of a curse. It needs to be known, needs to be said and recognized. These children are not just going on because they're just going on. It's a sign what the Lord is showing today. But there's a blessing from the Lord Most High in the book of Divine Recitation Day that it calls the young one, because they're the future. And they know in this society, again, they take the future away. You have killed a great nation.
You talk about the curse, and I don't want to detract too much, but in particular, say in the case of the Afro-American people, we want to talk about a curse and a matter of their children having gone astray, and so many en masse, those that represent their children who've taken on to this dysfunctional behavior, the gang lifestyle, the gang affiliations and the like. But we talk about a curse in which they had a calling prior to this day when Lord Holy-Apostle Deen has come to them, in which they were prepared by the prophet Elijah Muhammad. And we know that if you look at the history of Elijah Muhammad, you know the significance of his movement, the miraculous work that was done in changing over the lives of people in the matter of public record. But also of public record was the mass body of Afro-Americans who, in hearing what his message was, could not deny the message, but in mass, they rejected the message. They stayed away from it. So as a result,
but they have benefited by it. There's not a people in this nation that have not benefited by Elijah Muhammad's teaching, by what Ahezaah sent down through him, because they recognized, and even the government themselves, that institution had to move over for a lesser threat against them. So they raised people up. And that's one of the reasons they call Malcolm X's name Martin Luther King's name, but they refuse to call Elijah's name. And their people, the African American people, Afro American people, they refuse to call Elijah Muhammad's name for fear of them people. The ones whom Elijah said, rightly so, it was written in the Quran, that the blue-eyed people would be the leaders of the Antichrist, the Dajjal, the one-eyed devil, or whatever, in this life. And we know the devil is a doer of evil.
Exactly.
And he told the truth, and now those people fearing them equally or greater than they fear the Lord Most High.
So true.
They will not mention Elijah's name, and they will go along with his son who has disgraced him for them people so that they can gain advantage. But the thing about it is Elijah Muhammad was really, really a holy man.
Yes, he was.
Yes, it'd be interesting how the government in trying to compromise the people in their hero images, have put Dr. King and even Malcolm X, and they would supposedly once feared very much. They put him on the postage stamp to honor him. I can't imagine they would attempt to put Elijah Muhammad.
They would not put him up there. And as a matter of fact, they only put Malcolm and Martin up there because after they were slain by the jinn, and made to appear that they were slain by their own people. Before Malcolm was physically slain, he was slain in other ways. If you look at the documentaries from when he was with Elijah Muhammad, representing Elijah's words, the Lord's words, he was strong. And once he came away and started trying to change over, he was shaking, and you could see him shaking in those documentaries. His conversation, his demeanor, everything was different. But they don't mention it, and they don't want you to see it. And brothers like Spike Lee, wearing his glasses, why he couldn't see it? He had magnifying glasses on, right?
So true.
He couldn't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We can't ignore the fact that even though these people are people like us, there's still a holiness and an unholiness that we're involved in.
And many of those people today that don't need a holy side, the one that really supposedly run this country today, they're the one that our people, like Holy-Apostle Deen was saying, cursed Elijah. Our people are always the first one to curse something for the sake of the slave master. Say, look what I did to him. No, Elijah called you to something true of yourself, to something right from the Lord Most High. He was a preparer.
Something they couldn't deny.
They couldn't deny. He was a preparer for what the message and the thing that the Lord Holy-Apostle Deen is bringing today. He was only a forerunner. And those of his camp, supposedly represent his camp today, know this. He gave them a word to wait, but they haven't waited. They have raised up everybody else, but for the one, the man that comes today. And that's the sign the Lord showing. And this government, it's funny that we mention it because this government itself won't ever mention this Holy Apostle Deen's name. They know about him. They know what the Lord has sent through him. They have stuff in their archives. And they take it from him, the books, and present it to the people. In other words, getting you prepared to reject and not to accept the word of the Lord for this day. This is the day and the hour the Lord talks about, the day that is manifested to you. People, wake up. The time is not, like I said before, the hour is for you, the hour is at hand. The Lord is calling his judgment on this country, and you need to know first, and you see the signs manifested to you. Think about what's being done, and thank the Lord Most High for sending Lord Holy-Apostle Deen as a sign of his saving grace, as a sign for this time, and know that the political leaders challenge them. Call them to account, because many people don't do that today. Look at the great travesty that took place in 2000 when they stole the presidency for Bush. They expect the people in Florida to go back after their votes were counted and let you know that your votes don't even count. But they get our people again telling you to rally around. Vote, believe in the system. The system is failing you by and large because you don't know what's going on.
The man that lost that election got him to show in a show of compromise that he was agreeable with it. But one of the signs of the words of the state, the signs of the Lord Holy-Apostle, the sign of the messenger of this day is the uncompromising nature of the words, you know.
Yes, sir.
And take that as a sign. We're not taking any shorts in getting this message out.
How about the sign of the minister who was raised high as Martin Luther King, whose greatest supporter was one who was always looked upon as the man who upheld the devil's lair, you know, the bunny man.
Mr.
Jackson.
I didn't want to call any names. I think they all know about that. You know, the bunny man, the bunny man.
So true.
You know?
Everybody.
How you gonna mix holiness with unholiness?
Right. That's like mixing filthy rags.
That's that web that we were talking about.
That's
not
right.
only the government, the other parts of the world. Now everything is
all
mixed
interconnected.
in. It's all
Everything
good.
interconnected.
And the African Americans, they're always ready to forgive a person that the Caucasians tell them to forgive, and they always accept the leaders that the Caucasians present for them, as long as there's a monetary value put with it. What they gonna do when the Lord come like a tornado?
That's so true.
You know, you want to run, they want to run from a tornado go around and pass one house and tear up the next. And each man is like a house.
Yes, it is.
You know, and the wind is under the command of the Lord Most High. How you going to escape that? Thank you, brothers, for allowing me to...
Thank you for this program. Surely our evil is manifesting this sign.
Sure.
You heard the words of wisdom from the Lord Most High through his servant, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, the man of the hour for this day of judgment. The Lord is so graceful and so beautiful to us as a grace of people, the human family that descend this man today. Because he's bringing with the Lord's true covenant, reformed covenant for this day, this agreement that is made with the beginning of mankind since the prophet Adam, up until this day, him being the latest in the line of master prophet today.
Yes.
And I know people don't want to hear these words, religious people don't want to hear these words.
But they need to hear
these words. So
They're
true.
uncompromising words. They're words of the true salvation. The people that want to look for the troubles in their lives, they're looking for the solutions that they've been looking to, and the inadequate government to solve for them. And they've got signs that the government is not adequate to solve their problems. They're religious, they're educators, they're business leaders who don't care about them, who are exploiting them, and that's their job. You know, the capitalists who are capitalizing on them. You know, that's literally what they do. The people are looking. No, these are the words. This is the messenger. This is the Lord manifest. The Lord was manifesting Himself, real, live, and independent of all that hell, bro. So.
Oh, praise due to our Lord Most High. We want to thank you for tuning to an I-Have moment, the calm before the storm. We hope this show has provoked some thought in you to look to yourself, look to your government, look to what's going on today. Don't be distracted by what the Lord has manifested today, but be aware, be awakened. For the call is for you, as the song is saying, the hour is nigh and the time is at hand. We want to thank you for tuning in. Thank Lord Holy-Apostle Deen for being a guest on our program, for being on the side. And my brother of faith, may you speak your presence.
May I use
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you